Amanda here from Create Your Future. How is everybody doing today? Welcome to the live. I was supposed to do it yesterday, so my apologies to the people that asked the question on the Patreon, but I'm doing it today. So we're on it. So yeah, I'm excited to come on here, talk about some law of assumption, one of my favorite things. And guys, if you want to ask me a question, you can definitely do so in the Patreon where you can post the question. I'll put the Patreon in the chat on TikTok. Guys, you can sign up for the Patreon through the link tree in the bio. Okay. So yeah, I hope everybody's having a great day. Here, I'll throw that in the chat. Yeah, so exciting guys. If you don't already know, we do have a free course, how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. It'll help you to basically create your entire mental diet. So definitely check it out. I'm going to dive into the questions right now, actually, that we have. So we've got 2 questions today, quite a few questions from the 2, but that's okay. We'll get through it a little bit at a time here. So the first one says, "Hey, beautiful you." I'm like, "Hey, beautiful you too." Thank you. Guys, if you haven't noticed, I got my haircut. I got bangs. Love them. And you know what? I learned about hair products. I got a really good hairdresser, and I learned about like orchid oil for your hair and stuff. Like it really makes all the difference, especially since I actually have curly hair. So it goes quite dry. But anyway, this isn't a beauty channel. This is a law of assumption channel. So I have known about LOA and been coaching for 3 years now. Oh, 2 and 5/3 of a year, maybe. Okay. So it's been a little while. And I'm so grateful for the teachers and coaches at your channel. I know, isn't it great? I think all of them are absolutely amazing. They understand law of assumption and they have a true passion to help people. So, it's just I'm just so blessed to have them in my life. And I'm glad you guys are too. So I'm manifesting my SP and I've been seeing results over and over again with him throughout this time. Oh, that's so awesome. I love it. But I haven't been able to make it stick, him to fully commit and being the version I want him to. It's been hot and cold all this time and I'm getting so sick of it. It's triggering me and it's making it hard to have good self-concept. It has been multiple third parties, and I've been manifesting him back 4 times. I just manifest him contacting me again after over 2 months of not talking because of a bad third party situation. Even though I'm glad he reached out, it was the old him, and he's being really distant and inconsistent. It's making it hard not to react to the 3D and the anxious feelings start to come back. I did tell him today that I wanted more and that I didn't like how things was. How things are. I've been so afraid of being open and honest with my feelings in the past with him, but I feel like I need to stop the cycle of him contacting me when he feels like it and step up for myself. I'm really trying to stick to a mental diet and do what the coaches tell me to, but I feel like I don't believe I can do this. I know it's not something. I know time is not something you should think about. Do I read much? Apparently not. But I can't help feeling I should have been able to do this by now. Okay. So for the last couple months, I've been trying to put myself back up on the pedestal, trying to only focus on me, but it's not sticking in my mind. I feel powerless and the law is not working real, even though I've seen evidence before. I really want to manifest the best version of myself and him for us to be happy together. Sorry for the long message. Please help if you have any advice. Thank you. No, not a long message. It was all really excellent stuff that I needed to know. You're very clear at explaining yourself, so that's really awesome. So yes, I do have advice, actually. I am about to share it. So the first thing I'm going to dive into is part of this. And I think the middle part of this, because I think that a lot of the times, us in the law of assumption community, us that know it, we start to give ourselves an extra block by going, you know what, I should know this, or, it should have happened by now, or, maybe the law doesn't work. And that's just adding like another layer of like basically things that are going to stop you, resistance, block, whatever you want to call it. Like everybody is constantly always manifesting. Like you can't turn it off. You can't turn it on. There's no like magic. This moment I'm manifesting, this moment I'm not. It's funny. I caught myself saying to somebody the other day, I'm like, well, look, Yeah, my intentions are working. And I thought to myself, well, I said to the person, I was like, my intentions are working. I'm like, no, every single thought creates. It's always working. It's not like, oh, that intention worked and the other thought didn't. That's never the case. It's always constantly working, right? So, even people that have no idea about the law of assumption or law of attraction, they're constantly manifesting in their life as well. When I look through my life when I was younger, I was like, I had this like basic belief that I always got what I wanted, right? And I always got what I wanted. And I had no idea about the law of assumption or the law of attraction. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to, if you got a pen and paper, this would be really good intentions for you. So I would say I intend to stick to my mental diet easily and effortlessly. Okay. I feel like I believe I can do this. I feel like it's going to happen. Okay. And, you know, and it's happening right now. Right this minute, it's happening. Everything that I want is going to happen right now. Okay. So those are like the base core intentions for basically the blocks that you've created with, saying, okay, well, this isn't happening. Maybe I'm not doing it right. Oh, okay, it's taken too long. I can't stick to my mental diet. Maybe the law doesn't work. No, I know my thoughts create. I see evidence of it all the time. And I always get what I want because I'm good enough. Always throw I'm good enough in there because you're good enough. You're allowed to have what you want. Every single one of you guys can have anything you absolutely want. Absolutely. Right. So we got to start saying that to ourselves. Okay. So I love it that you've been putting yourself back up on the pedestal, and those intentions are going to help you to put yourself back on the pedestal. The next part of your story that I want to talk about is that you are focusing on yourself, right? And that is great. But you need to focus on him and the story about him because you've got a specific story about him. He, doesn't want to commit. He's hot and cold. He's on and off. Your assumptions about him need to change. So, a lot of the times when we manifest, yes, okay, people say it's all about you. You change yourself to change them. But part of changing yourself is changing your assumptions about the other person. This is so incredibly important when it comes to manifesting and recreating somebody is going, okay, what are my new assumptions about this person? Okay. So when you take a look at it, okay, let's say, I'm with Jerry in a committed relationship. I would never think that he would be with somebody else. Okay. Well, I'll use Andrew as an example. We're getting married in, oh my goodness, just like over a month and a week almost, right? So I would never think to myself when he goes to work or if he's home late from work that he's out with somebody else because my assumption of him is he's loyal and he wants to be with me and he wants to marry me. Okay. Even, there's this one time we were at this networking event and he was talking to this lady and she pretty much had him like backed in a corner and he wasn't moving. And I got a little bit miffed at first, right? But I did have the assumption that, Andrew's very loyal and this sort of thing. And we were dating, but I was like working on those assumptions at that time. And so anyway, so I kind of walk up and I take some food off his plate at this networking event to kind of like be like, hey, this is my man, right? And then all of a sudden Andrew's like, oh, did I introduce you to Amanda? This is Amanda. And then all of a sudden this lady starts talking to me about her multi-level marketing company. And then he scoots off and then she has me backed in a corner. And I thought, oh my goodness, you know what? I was getting a little bit jealous. And then, but I know I had the assumptions that he would never, like, he wanted to be with me, da 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 da. But so my little moment of like, kind of getting jealous, I went there and then I got like stuck in a corner with this lady trying to pitch me her business, which I really wanted nothing to do with. Right. So, but basically what I'm saying is, now that I got off track with that story, but is you want all your thoughts to come from, okay, and to be in line with the person that you want him to be. So, take a piece of paper and pen or however you want to do it and write down, how do you want him to be? Okay. So what's all the behaviors you don't like? It's always easier to, identify what we don't want. And then once you've identified what you don't want or you don't like in your current relationship or, current situation with the person, rewrite it into positive intentions. So when it's like, he doesn't want a commitment. So I intend he wants a commitment, he's, whatever the case is, let's say, he's always calling and checking out other women. Okay. He only wants to be with me. We should probably put that one on there anyway. He only wants to be with me. So create a whole new list of assumptions, starting off, by changing, things in your current situation you don't like, and then add to that new list of that person. Okay. So once you're clear on what you actually want, right? So you find out what you don't want, you get clear on what you want. And this is just really to do with him and your relationship with him. And then and you can do some of your self-concept in there as well. Like if you think, oh, I've got to lose 5 pounds before he's going to want to be with me, or I'm not pretty enough, or whatever like that. Like I'm just putting suggestions out there, like as examples, right? So then you would be, I'm good enough. And he thinks I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. I feel like I'm the most beautiful woman in the world. And then, once you have that new list, okay, and you read those intentions through, you're going to find it a lot easier to stick on a mental diet, because, your hot and cold behavior is going to come from the lack of staying on your mental diet. Of course, you know that. All of you guys know that. Our thoughts create, we have no way around it, and it kind of sucks some days and some days it's good, right? So once you've got that whole entire list and you've read it through a couple times, in the day for a few days, you'll find that those thoughts are a lot easier to have. And once you're clear on what you really want, you're going to find that you're going to have them show up consistently. Okay. The first step about anything is getting clear on what you want and being 100% dedicated and focused on that. Okay. If you were going back and forth and saying, oh, today I want to be with him, and then tomorrow, oh, I don't want to be with him. You know what? I just can't take this anymore. And then the next day, no, I want to be with him. Then it's going to go back and forth. It's going to go back and forth. And a lot of times, if we're not clear on what we want, then we're going to experience the same thing, because we have to set our GPS, our destination. We have to be clear on where we're going. If we're not clear on where we're going, we're not going to know where to turn. Okay. So I intend that, he's ready to be in a fully committed relationship with you, and that he's absolutely sick of all these other women because they don't compare to you. You are the absolute most best person that he's ever met, and he's madly in love with you, and he wants to be with you. Okay. And any other thought, reject it. Go, but my thought, nope, this is what I want instead. Now, as for setting up boundaries, okay, so you've had the relationship talk, not a big deal. Okay. The thing with the relationship talk is, if you were living in your mind and in your heart and in your body, and from in the end of him wanting to be with you, you wouldn't need to have a conversation with him. Okay. So I don't recommend, the relationship talk. I did it with Andrew, and he pretty much almost left that night. And then of course I started crying, and then he decided to stay. And then I said, don't worry about it. I don't want to move in with you. And then I went, oh, that didn't work, because he almost left. And because I was just like an ultimatum, I'm like, you're moving in now, or I'm not wasting any more of my time. And he was like, oh, okay, I'll go then. And I was like, oh no, this is not what I wanted. So I had to dig down inside and start changing my assumption about him. Because for myself, I had no problem with my self-concept. I had a story about men that were previously married. So, it sometimes is a combination of self-concept, but if you're doing self-concept and you're not getting results, then we need to start changing the assumption about the other person. Regardless, if anybody having a problem in a relationship or wanting to recreate somebody, there has to be more energy and attention to changing your assumptions about the other person. And any thought that you have about them has to be in line with your end goal, right? So if he doesn't call you, right, it can't be like, oh, that's it. You know what? He's out at the bar with some chick. No, he's going to call me right now. In fact, he's going to come over tonight. Like, let's say Andrew's late from work today, right? I mean, I have the choice. I can think, oh, that's it. What girl did he go out with? Or I can actually think to myself, no, you know what? He's on his way. There's just a little bit of traffic. He'll be home any minute now. Like, actually, true story, today, Andrew texted me, and he was giving me directions, and then all of a sudden he texted me back, and he was like, LOL, not you, and like a laughing face. And in this moment, when I got this text, I had a choice. I could have been like, who is he texting that he's giving directions to? He's supposed to be going to work, right? I mean, I'm sure it was just one of his staff members, because they've got 2 offices, or actually he's probably got a new person coming to join the team that he told me about a few weeks ago. He's probably giving them directions, or somebody directions. But do you see what I'm saying? I have a choice in this moment. I had a choice when I saw that message of him giving someone directions, of whether or not it was him doing, things and not being faithful to me and loyal, or, it was work related, right? So we always have that choice, and we have to make the choice of our thoughts of what we want in the end, right? Because, our thoughts can either make us feel good or hurt us, right? So we've got that choice. Now, let's dive into boundaries. I absolutely love boundaries. So I never suggest making a boundary out loud and saying, look, you know what? This is my boundary, Okay, because it doesn't matter if you say, like I say to Jerry, look at my boundary is cheating on me in a relationship. That's it. That's where I draw the line. I'm going to leave you if you do that. And then I've got an assumption, right, that Jerry is going to cheat on me. Right? He's going to do it anyway, even though I told him that was the boundary. And I just want everyone to notice right now that for this example, I actually didn't use Andrew. Right? We've got to be very careful in our language when we're speaking about things. And even as like myself as a coach, I've got to be very careful not to use Andrew in negative examples because I don't want it to show up in my relationship. And I've seen things that I've said and haven't even meant, haven't believed show up. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's that sensitive. My thoughts are always creating. The universe isn't out there picking and choosing what it's going to manifest. So let's go back to boundaries, right? Boundaries at the end of the day are things you create within yourself. Okay. So a boundary, if you want to say that, you know what, nobody cheats on you, you're like, no, you know what? Every single man that I'm with is loyal to me. Every single woman I'm with is loyal to me. Every single person in my life respects me and respects my time. That's setting boundaries, is intending that that's how you're treated, right? Jerry, he's always loyal to me and he respects my time and he treats me with respect. Boom. You've just set a boundary. Boundaries are set within you with your assumptions about how people treat you. Okay. Setting a boundary in the 3D verbally with somebody, it can easily be changed unless you have the story. I'm going to tell them this is my boundary and he's not going to cross it. But even if you do that, right? If you have the assumption that he's going to cheat or, you know, disrespect you in any way, he's going to do it anyway, whether you've said something or not. So because our thoughts will trump our words to other people any day. Okay. Because your thoughts create, your thoughts are powerful. Your words are also very powerful as well. Make sure your thoughts and your words are in line. So, you know, for instance, you know, talking with other people, like I'm really careful when people ask me about what I'm like something in my life, especially if that's an area I'm manifesting in. I'm very careful not to tell them my current reality if I don't want to recreate that. I will say, you know what, it's going great. This is going to happen. I know, you know, say I'm going for a job. I'd be like, yeah, I know they're going to call them any day now. You know, like I had a friend looking for a job and somebody asked me, oh, how's your job search going? I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure she's going to get like a job tomorrow. She just went for an interview. And sure enough, like 2 days later, she got a job exactly where she went for the interview. So we're always creating. We're always creating. Okay. Always, always, always creating. So, you know, watch when you're speaking with other people. I know sometimes, you know, and when we're manifesting a relationship, we got like best friends or manifestation buddy. It's so easy, you know, so easy to go down the negative. And if you have somebody that likes to complain with them, but please refrain from that if you don't want to mess up that area of your life that you're complaining about. Okay. You know, I know sometimes I complain and my famous line is, okay, Andrew, I am going to complain for about 2 minutes and then I'm going to clean it up. And then I do a bunch of intentions after. Okay. So it's okay to have a moment to vent. I'm not saying it isn't, but you've got to clean it up with intentions. You've got to change that story. Okay. And a really good way to change the story is to remind yourself that none of this is real. Everyone is you pushed out and your thoughts absolutely create. Okay. So that's what I do. So I intend that this actually helps you. I would also intend that that you can be open and honest with him, that you feel comfortable being open and honest with him. And yeah. And he contacts you constantly. And, you know, you can even intend that he phones you so much and texts you so much, it's annoying, but you may not want to create that. I did that once. It was annoying, but I mean, I got lots of contact, right? But, you know, is start going and stop thinking that he's got his own thoughts. Okay. He doesn't. Okay. Like Neville says, you know, everybody out there is your puppet. They're all dead. They're waiting for your command. They're over listening to your thoughts. That's what Neville says. Okay. That's right out of his book. So, you know, I mean, you know, start going, okay, no, this is when he's calling me. These are my assumptions. These are how, this is what I'm going to start seeing showing up in my reality with him. Okay. So yeah, and then you also say, I can manifest this relationship easily and effortlessly. I'm manifesting a commitment with him easily and effortlessly. Everything I manifest sticks, right? So more assumptions about him, I think, is where we're sort of, you know, going down. If you've been doing your self-concept a lot, maybe shift some focus onto that, okay? So yeah, let me take a look here. So we got another question. Guys, so let's take a boo. The second question is, she's been writing in regularly, so I'm excited. She says, hi, Amanda. Thanks for answering my questions in the past few months. I got some major manifestations, like my parents got new jobs. Yay! And they offered me to live with them for free. Yes! My intention, they never expect any money from me. Yeah, I know, I remember. And I got more hours at my work. Also, some other crazy stuff too. A friend showed up at my work twice. Um, or got things I wanted in an unexpected way instantly without lifting my finger. Absolutely. I might have visualized a few times, but mainly just mental diet and not reacting and sticking to the news story when things were showing up the opposite. You nailed it right there. You nailed it right there. You know what? And I would like to say too, I think you were worried about where you were going to stay when you were going to college, wasn't it? Nursing school? But anyway, yeah, and and you felt like you had to pay for everybody all the time. So I'm so happy your parents got you. Yeah, they offered you to live with them too for free, and they got jobs. So I'm so proud of you. I mean, we've been working on that. So I feel like your success is my success right now. Oh, so exciting. So exciting. Yeah. But you nailed it right here, you mainly stick to a mental diet, don't react, and stick to the story when things show up opposite. Like, that's exactly it. What I often say is there's no room for emotions in manifesting because your thoughts create and everything is empty and meaningless. Where do we get emotions from? We get emotions from making things mean things. So it's not wrong or bad to make things mean things. Like, Andrew makes my tea every morning and he does all these things for me, and and he lives with me and he wants to marry me, and I make all those things mean he loves me. But really, they're empty and meaningless. I give those things the meaning that he loves me, and then that meaning makes me feel good, and there's nothing wrong with that. Where we do need to watch out is when we give things in our reality a bad meaning, a bad assumption. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, oh, that's it, Jerry's late, he doesn't call me, he's rejecting me. Okay, well, no, it was empty and meaningless, and give it, pardon me, a meaning that's in line with what you actually want to create, right? So yeah, excellent. But yeah, I often say there's no room for emotion, because when we start having negative emotion, right, we create the thoughts that we have, the situation happens, we give it a negative meaning, and then all of a sudden we get upset, we feel that emotion, we're now living there in our body, right? So we want to let go of all those negative emotions and just stick to what we actually want to create, and to not react. How I don't react is I'm like, okay, you know what? Everyone's being pushed out. My thoughts create. I know I've created this. No big deal. I'm going to change it, right? So still working on the SP. For the last 2 weeks, we haven't talked much, as we don't even see each other once a week. Okay. It's not hot and cold behavior, since I can tell that he really likes me, but I'm not satisfied. And sometimes I think, why he doesn't spend more time with me, or if he hasn't even thought of committing to me, or if there's a third party. Okay. I'm just getting more confused, and I would still react quite often. Although I can go back on my mental diet pretty quickly, I'm getting sick and tired of seeing him show up the way, not the way I want to, reacting to it and then cleaning it up. Exactly. And back to the mental diet and becoming more impatient. Another thing bothering me is I'm starting to feel numb. Sometimes when I visualize, I don't even feel anything. Although I'm doing well, like my affirmations are working and I got things that I thought would never happen to me, I still feel like something's missing. Thank you. Okay. So like you said earlier, right? You don't need to visualize. You just basically did a mental diet, visualized a couple times. Honestly, guys, I don't visualize anything, and I don't feel anything either. I just have a thought. I just use my thoughts. And, I'll be walking on down the supermarket and I'll just start intending. And then by the time I get home, one of my intentions will show up. So having the thought is enough to create the feeling in you, because when you have a thought, okay, so let's say my thought is, I intend for Jerry to buy me, I don't know, a notebook. And then all of a sudden, like, when you think that, your subconscious mind will automatically make a picture of it. Okay. And then your brain will automatically connect emotions to it. So just by stating and thinking what you want, you're already feeling it real, and you're already creating a mental image of it. So your body's doing that all on its own. The only thing you need to do is to have the thoughts and to guide your thoughts with what you want, right? So I think a big thing here is like the reacting, like we're getting caught up in, the reacting and not seeing things the way that we want it, right? So, in the situation, I would say, look, you know what? I intend that I feel satisfied manifesting this relationship. I intend that this relationship manifests and manifests now, and really be clear on what you actually want to create. And like I said with the last one, is spend some time actually, going through the assumptions about your SP. I think that one is really huge when it comes to people. Let's go through, what do you want to see? And then the other thing I would do, is I remind myself of things I've created. And then I say to myself, I'm like, wow, if I can do that, I can do anything. You know what I mean? So, because when you have that feeling that you've manifested something, that really great feeling, and you start intending from that point of view, you're already like totally in that magical state. But you don't even need to be in that magical state. Like, you really don't, right? So I know that the whole cycle of, the rinse, wash, repeat of, basically affirming and then reacting and then cleaning it up, getting back to the mental diet, right? So, and that getting sick of that cycle is the whole reason why I never react anymore, because I realize that when I react, what ends up happening is I just prolong this for myself, right? Like, I'm not doing myself any favors, right? So I would create intentions like, you know what? I never react to any situation with my SP. I always feel like I'm getting what I want. It's going to happen. It's going to happen now. And, just like the magical formula you said was mainly sticking to your mental diet, not reacting, and stick to the news story when things are showing up opposite. And, you can honestly turn anything around like in a matter of a day, not even like just by doing that. Right. So, I turned around my relationship in 5 days. Andrew changed his mind to move in with me after he said no. I've changed around so many things in such a short amount of time. Do you know what I mean? So, but I mean, I think the first thing is get clear. Do you want to manifest this relationship, right? Be clear on it. Are you going back and forth to, I want it. Okay, I'm getting sick of this. I don't want it. Okay, I'm impatient. Why isn't this happening? All those thoughts have to be stopped. It's like, no, you know what? This is happening. I'm not impatient because it's happening now, right? But be clear, is that what you want? And then, let go of all those negative emotions, right? It's like, okay, I created this, take responsibility for it. And now what do I want instead? And say things like, I'm satisfied, I'm going to get what I want. I know this relationship is going to happen. I know he wants to be in a commitment with me. He's going to show up exactly the way I want him to, right? So whether it's seeing him every day, things like that, right? Yeah. So also, right, remind yourself that he's you pushed out, that he doesn't have his own thoughts. He is basically acting in the way that the assumptions that you're putting out, right? So it's your quantum bubble. You're the one in that quantum bubble. You are running the show. You are the writer, the director, the producer, and everybody else is just the actors on the screen, and they're all taking cues from you. So remind yourself, everyone is you pushed out, and you're going to get what you want, and this is what you want. And then state what you want, and then say it, because I'm good enough, and this is going to happen. It's going to happen right now. Look at all those other things I manifested. I can do this. So you can even intend how you feel about manifesting your relationship. So I would say things like, I intend to feel satisfied, in my relationship. I intend to feel, excited. I intend to feel confident that I'm going to get what I want. I intend, to, every day for him to do something that shows me my manifestations are working. Right. I even do that. I'm like, every day I intend to see evidence of everyone as me pushed out and that my thoughts create. Right. So, and a lot of, and yeah, don't worry about feeling numb. It's okay. I mean, again, there's no room for emotions in creating. All you need is your thoughts. So you don't have to feel anything but neutral. Okay. So as long as you don't feel anxious when you think about your relationship, right? So your thoughts are going to create your emotions. Okay. So if you're feeling anxious and rejected, there's some thoughts we need to dig into. But if you're on a good, clean mental diet, you're just going to feel neutral. You're just going to feel neutral, because once you start getting the feeling is when things manifest, and then you start giving them meaning. And that's when you're going to really start feeling the good feelings, right? You know what I mean? So like, I'll just go through, I'll intend no particular feeling, just neutral, kind of numb, doesn't matter. No negative feelings though. And then, when it shows up. So when I was intending for Andrew to propose to me, I didn't have any feelings like it already happened. I didn't have any feelings like he already proposed to me. It was just regular. In fact, the day that he said he wanted to go ring shopping, I was actually upset at him and mad, and we were fighting in the car. And then in the truck. And then it was like the fight sort of ended, right? And I was like, kind of like a half nasty apology, right? And we were like, I mean, I guess he was over it, but I wasn't really. I was still sitting there, like all rah, 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 right? But then he was like, and then he said to me, he's like, "You want to go to the mall?" And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Well, to buy a ring." And I was like, "What?" Because he knew I wanted to pick out my own ring. I didn't show him what I wanted or whatever. And I was like, "Really?" Like, so, I mean, the thing is, right, as I was intending for the marriage proposal and to get married, and and I wasn't feeling it real. I wasn't feeling like it was going to happen. It was just neutral, and I was still intending, and we had a huge fight that day. And then that's the day he ended up buying the ring. So, but of course, let me get it clear though, the fight, I wasn't thinking, oh, he doesn't want to marry me anymore. I was definitely not thinking that, right? So, my thoughts were in line with it. Okay, even though I didn't feel like in my relationship it was going to happen that day or any time when I manifested it. When I started feeling the great emotions from the proposal was when we had the proposal, when we got engaged. And in that moment I felt great love, because it was like I made that proposal mean that he loved me and wanted to be with me, right? So your emotions will take care of themselves. Okay. You keep your thoughts in line with what you want, you're going to feel that it's neutral. And that's good. That's good. So being numb's okay. Being numb is better than being anxious or feeling rejected or feeling annoyed. So don't give any thought to that. Right. So as long as you're focused on what you want, you're going to feel neutral. And if you do feel anxiety or you do feel, impatient or fed up, then get on top of your thoughts. What thoughts are you having right now that are causing this? So let's say it's impatient. Okay, what thought would make me impatient? Oh, why isn't this happening? It should have happened already. Okay, boom. No, this is happening. It's happening now. He's going to want to be with me. He's going to call me every day. He's going to give me the attention that I want, and go into detail about what you want to see, hear, and feel in your relationship with him. Like, how do you want him to show up? What are your assumptions about him, right? Yeah. So you don't need to feel anything when you visualize. Don't worry about that. Don't make that a block. It doesn't matter. As long as you're focused on what you want, you're going to get what you want. Okay. And as long as there's no negative emotion, like if you were to say to me, Amanda, you know what, I'm visualizing my marriage, and, and I see myself on the altar, but I'm angry. Okay. Well, then I would say, whoa, whoa, whoa. We can't have that feeling of anger when we're thinking about our marriage. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, if it's just numb and it's nothing, then you're okay. You're okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I intend, and you can also intend, say, I intend to feel whole. I intend to feel like nothing's missing. I intend to feel like everything is perfect and everything I want is happening, and it's happening right now. I mean, look at this. You know what? We talked for a few months about your parents, and you feeling like you need to take care of everybody, and boom, they got jobs. They never expected any money from you. They actually got jobs and figured it out, and you can move in there for free. Like, amazing. You got this. If you can manifest them doing that, your SP, boom, in the bag. You got this. You're going to do it, and you're going to do it right now. And I intend the next time I read a post from you and it says, Amanda, I did it. And I'm going to be like, yes, right? Because we've already done half of it. So you're amazing. You're almost there. Almost there. So yeah, guys, you guys are all absolutely amazing. Those were the 2 questions today. And yeah, you guys are all amazing. Thanks for the wonderful comments and, being here and all that. And I hope everybody's enjoying their summer. I know we're having a heat wave here. So yeah, I think the major thing, right, is just, um, is just reminding yourself, that everyone is you pushed out and your thoughts create, and not getting wrapped up in any story, and getting, dragged into it. Do you know what I mean? But, the other thing too, right? You guys create everything in your world is yours. You can do what you want. So, never feel like, oh, I have to recreate this person. I mean, you get the choice, right? You can recreate somebody or you can manifest someone new. There's no right or wrong. The only thing is what you want to do. And get clear on what you want to do, and then do it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the real big secret here. There is no right or wrong. I see people say, why does someone want to manifest an ex back? Well, because they do, and there's nothing wrong with that. And some people feel that if they don't manifest an ex back, then they're a failure. But you're not. You're not. I've had many relationships before Andrew that never made it to the altar. And and whether I wanted to manifest one of those back and recreate them or find someone new, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's my reality and I get to choose what I want. Do you know what I mean? So, and nobody, including yourself, should ever judge you for what you want, because each and every one of you guys is perfect, whole and complete, beautiful, and you deserve absolutely everything you could possibly want in this world. And I'm intending that every single one of you guys get it. Like, seriously, we intend like crazy here, me and the coaches, that all of you guys are successful and that we see wonderful comments of success. Do you know what I mean? So, definitely. So yeah. And guys, I've got some journals, manifestation journals, daily journals. We also have it in digital copy now, which is really helpful. Yeah, they're just to help you. I like writing stuff. So, when I'm not doing a mental diet, but they're really neat. They're on our website and stuff. But yeah, we also have that free course, which we've gotten really great feedback about. I did make it. And yeah, it's about, talking about how to build a mental diet, like questioning what the other person thinking is 100% a block. Resistance. It's not focused on what you want, because, if you had the assumption that somebody wanted to be with you, you wouldn't question why they're not with you. Do you know what I mean? So making sure that, all of our thoughts are in line with our end goal. And you know what? I think sometimes it just comes down to not realizing the thought is, in the way, because I honestly think if all of us knew what was stopping us from getting what we want, we would change it. And I know way back when I first started with Law of Assumption, I did not know that questioning was a block and would stop me from getting what I want. But really, when I think about it, it is, because like I said, if I had the assumption that Jerry wanted to be with me, I wouldn't question why he's not with me. I wouldn't question why he's not calling me. I wouldn't question what he's thinking, because my assumption would be he wants to be with me and that's what he's thinking. Do you know what I mean? So little things like that. So yeah. Well, you guys all have an amazing, amazing day. If you guys want to ask me a question, definitely post it on the Patreon page. Oh, and one thing I just wanted to mention to everybody, guys, when you do put your questions into the comments of our YouTube, we actually do take a screenshot and send it to the coaches for them to make a video out of it. Okay, so we don't actually comment, like reply. I sometimes do 2 questions in the comments, because our reception isn't always trained LOA coaches. Actually, our reception staff isn't trained LOA coaches, and they do all the moderating. So they take a screenshot and they send it to the coach. And a lot of times they actually comment, I'll send it to so-and-so for them to answer in a video. So yeah, so guys, we are making effort to answer your questions and stuff, and we do appreciate your questions, and we do want each and every one of you guys to absolutely be successful. That's why we get up every day and do this. And thank you so much for being here, liking, sharing, subscribing, and sharing your success stories. Absolutely love it. We want to hear more of them. So yeah, guys, we'll see you. I'm sorry, MS, you did catch me just winding down. I know I did it a bit early. I'm sure people are still, well, it's Friday night too, right? So it's like 10 to 4 on a Friday night here where I am, and I'm in Pacific Standard Time, so I'm sure, it's Friday night out for dinner and stuff, whatever. So anyways, guys, you guys can watch a recording. It'll be on YouTube as well. Thank you for being here. We absolutely love all of you guys. And yeah, I'll see you in a month from now. Okay, bye-bye.